Now your forecast first.
Sponsored by ESL Federal Credit Union.
The heat has arrived, and even at the 7 o'clock hour, temperatures right now still in the upper 80s and low 90s. And the heat's not going anywhere anytime soon. We've got a very uncomfortable night ahead of us, and temperatures that will still be very warm into Monday, but we do have some shower chances to get through as we get into the middle of next week. I'll break down how long the heat lasts and those rain chances coming up.
Also ahead, to mask or not to mask, a new recommendation has us asking the question. And another shooting in Rochester this weekend, this time in one of the city's busiest districts.
From the team you can trust, this is News 8 at 6.
Good evening, everyone. Another in what seems like an endless streak of city violence, a double shooting late on a Saturday night, this time in a popular Rochester bar district. 2 women were shot as late night crowds gathered on the East End. Jack Watson joining us live tonight from East Avenue to tell us exactly what happened here, Jack.
Yeah, that's right, Maureen. It took place here in this popular entertainment district here on the East End, just around this area, the East Avenue and Union Street area. And it's the most recent in a seemingly limitless streak of violence here in the city of Rochester. It was just hours ago, overnight, that shots echoed out on these streets during a busy Saturday night. Now, on a noticeably tranquil Sunday, Rochester police look into gunfire at one of Rochester's busiest bar scenes.
Well, it's not a good feeling, obviously, but I have faith in the Rochester Police Department. That
Don Swartz owns Veneto Wood-Fired Pizza. The gunfire rang out within feet of his East Avenue restaurant. The restaurant was closed at the time of the overnight shooting.
Most of the city is safe. Obviously, we have the restaurant here. I personally live in the city and own some small property in the city. And, we're going through a period of crime, obviously.
He's right. Shootings are up this year, way up. According to Rochester police, over 150 incidents reported with over 180 victims. Here in the Easton Alexander area, police say 2 women were shot overnight, both taken to Strong Hospital with non-life-threatening upper body injuries. It was officers in the area who heard the shots initially. Things can get rowdy on Saturday nights at the East End Bar District, but Swartz says he can't remember a shooting quite like this.
I don't recall the last time there was gunfire, specifically in the neighborhood, but obviously, crime can happen anywhere. It can happen in the suburbs, it can happen here.
Well, Maureen, I mentioned those officers on scene. They scoured the area and they only found those 2 shooting victims. They are currently looking into this, and anyone with information is asked to call 911. We are live on the East End. Jack Watson, News 8.
All right, Jack, thank you. The Ontario County Sheriff's Office says a driver at the Paradise Speedway has died. Witnesses say the driver may have experienced a medical emergency in the track. According to officials, he had to be pulled from the car after the crash, and he was pronounced dead at the scene. The death happened late last night at the track, and the Ontario County Sheriff's Office again is investigating. Now for the latest COVID-19 news. The key numbers out today are the lowest since the pandemic began. Statewide, 330 people are hospitalized, 85 are in intensive care, with 43 intubated. The incidence of COVID-19 very low now. Meantime, the state has more than 21 million COVID vaccine shots and says they have been administered across the state. Would you go back to wearing a COVID mask full-time? Officials with the World Health Organization are urging people to do just that, even if you're vaccinated. This comes as the latest variant of the virus, the Delta strain, moves through the Midwest, but the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says vaccinated people can resume most activities without masking. And in New York, most COVID restrictions have been lifted, statewide. We talked to people about this.
I have my mask right here. You should wear it every day. Even if you go to the store, doesn't matter. Even if people have their vaccine, just protect yourself at all times.
If we do fall into this Delta strain later on this year, we will be okay with wearing masks. If it's posted on a door, we always respect whatever the wishes of the business is.
The WHO says inequitable distribution of vaccines in poorer countries is a cause of the increased spread right now. Camp Good Days and Special Times held a special raffle today, offering up an autographed guitar signed by current and former members of the famed band Foreigner. The guitar was donated by superstar singer Lou Gramm, and it all went to Camp Good Days. The raffle raised more than $13,000 for the camp's music hut renovation. Gramm said he's happy to help.
I promised him I would help him as much and as often as I could. It's never enough, and I want to do more. And I'm hoping that in the near future there'll be Gary and other people will be counting on me for a little more help.
Gramm referring to Gary Mervis, who founded Camp Good Days. So extreme or really hot heat was the order of the day, but the heat advisories are nearly done as we inch into the evening. We're just into big heat though, and meteorologist Christine Gregory is here to explain what is happening with this. Is this going to last through the week?
Yeah, I think today is pretty much the peak of the real big summer heat. If you've been looking for that today, it was pretty much a good example of it. As we continue through the next week, it'll still be warm, but not quite this hot. Here are the highs from today. We hit 92 in Rochester, 90s across the region. So it's the second time that we hit 90 this year in Rochester, and temperatures even at this hour still very, very warm. We're in the upper 80s. We've got low 90s still in parts of the region, and tonight it's still going to be very uncomfortable. Still feels like 90 in Rochester even at this hour. And we do still have heat advisories in effect until 8 o'clock tonight, so not too long before these will probably expire. And we do have another hot day ahead of us tomorrow, but we'll get to that in just a moment. Still, it's a warm evening, but maybe a nice time to go out, get some ice cream. Definitely eat it fast though, just because we are still holding on to the 80s even through the overnight hours. And with the heat in mind, we will also start to notice some changes come into the region. We're already starting to see that with some cloud cover right now. Still a gorgeous sunset though on this Sunday evening. We're going to notice rain chances go up, but it will be very gradual. I think it won't be until Wednesday when we start to see more scattered to widespread chances for rain, but we'll check in with satellite and radar right now. We're pretty much quiet across the region. I am keeping my eye on maybe just a few isolated showers that have sprung up off of Lake Erie, but you can see those have been fading with the heating of the day as they enter a less favorable environment. I'm still keeping chances for an isolated shower in the forecast for tonight, but still most of us will be able to avoid the drops just because this bubble of high pressure is still taking the reins on this one. But as we continue through the end of the week, the heat will lessen and we'll start to notice more chances for some rain too. So we'll take you through tonight. It's going to be very, very warm and uncomfortable, but I think we'll get away mostly rain free. Tomorrow morning we'll start off in the mid 70s. It's going to be another hot day tomorrow and still feel like the 90s, I think, but just below heat advisory criteria. And I think this is also going to be our first time we start to see a few isolated shower and storm chances come into the region by the time we get to the afternoon, mostly across the Finger Lakes. Most of us will probably not even see a drop of rain until we get into the middle of the week. And Tuesday is a similar day to Monday where we're still going to be feeling the warm temperatures in the 80s, but still very isolated chances. It's not going to be until I think we get to Wednesday and Thursday when we start to see more scattered showers and storms. But notice the temperatures going down slowly from the upper 80s to the lower 80s, maybe even 70s by the time we get to the end of next week, Maureen.
All right, so we're in for a bit of an, uncomfortable week, humid.
The next couple of days, it's still going to be very uncomfortable and muggy.
But it's summer, and we're happy about that.
Yeah.
There's always an upside, and that is it. All right, thanks, Christine. And thank you for joining us here on the web. There will be much more news for you over on News 8 at 11, tonight at 11. So join us then. Have a terrific evening. We'll see you
then. Follow News 8 wherever you are on RochesterFirst.com, Facebook, Twitter, and on our app for news and weather.